All right, we're here, and this is one I've been waiting for. It's the Fit for Radio podcast, and if you don't know about this podcast, it's all about people who do amazing things, people who overcome the odds, people who are told no and refused to hear that and came through anyway. And I'm so excited for my first in-studio guest. You know, we got via satellite stuff. People can be all over the country on here, but Tommy Vu, the American record holder for push-ups in an hour and so many more. We've got a room full of Guinness World Records in here, and I gotta say, it's super nice to have you here, buddy. Tommy Vu is in studio. Now, Tommy, I first saw your what you've been up to when a friend of mine sent me a video connected to a news story that said, it just said, trying this, question mark. And for people who know me, I'm a push-up guy.
Yeah.
And have been for since the pandemic. I've always done push-ups, but kind of a freak about it since the pandemic. And I saw that you, Tommy, had broken this record. And so I'm looking and I'm watching your video, and I immediately start doing the math. Like I start going beautiful mind on the thing, and I'm like, okay, well, what does that entail? How many do you got to do a minute? How can I break your record long before I even met you? And I know it's extremely disrespectful.
No.
To show up and try and smash a man's record. But I saw it, and just a couple days later, I attempted your record, which was an amazing number, 1,721, if I'm correct, a number that became just lasered into my mind. Perfect. And when I saw you do this, it looked like, I wouldn't say you were doing it with relative ease, but it did look like you had it under control. You were switching up the techniques and everything that I'd love to get into here. But it's an inspiration to see what you've been able to do, and especially with the course of your life, right? Because, you know, LeBron James was born to play basketball. And it would be strange if he didn't crush at basketball with how great he was from an early age. But a lot of us, me included, nobody checked that box for me that I was supposed to even come close to breaking a record like yours. And now, spoiler alert, when I attempted to do 1,721 push-ups, I had it in my mind that I was going to get you. And it was at about a half hour where I was still on pace with you, and things deteriorated quickly from there. Now, before we get into all of that stuff, you grew up in kind of a traditional household where fitness was not the forefront. You want to break that down a little bit for where you started at?
Of course. So first off, thank you for the invite. This is quite the honor to be recognized and to be your first in studio, recording. That's awesome. So I grew up in a family, a very traditional Vietnamese family. So education, academics, get good grades. That was the goal in life. We didn't really do sports. Exercise was not a thing. It was all just about, go home, study, do homework.
All academics.
All academics. That was your worth, was how smart were you? What were your grades like? Right. So growing up, I never exercised. Eventually towards middle school, I started gaining a ton of weight. At my peak, I weighed 200 pounds at like 5'1".
That's a lot of body.
Yeah.
At 5'1".
Yeah, 5'1". So it's I was not an athletic kid at all by any means. It was hard for me to do anything. Ran out of breath walking down the hall. But in my mind, I never saw myself as a fat kid. I always saw myself as, oh yeah, I'm just a normal, regular kid.
Yeah.
Because that's all I surrounded myself with, was just other kids who didn't exercise. And then it was my freshman year in high school where...
And you're 5'1", 200 at this point?
200. My English teacher, she had us write poetry, and she wanted us to write poetry under duress. And so she had us up on the field. She told us to run down, run back. Well, first off, it was walk down, walk back, and then write a couple lines. And then it was, jog down, jog back, write a couple lines, and then an all-out sprint, right? And so for me not doing sports, I was like, "Oh, hey, this is a good opportunity for me to show my class that, hey, I'm pretty fit, pretty athletic,"
I got
right?
this.
Yeah, in my mind, I was, like I said, it's just a regular old kid, and, so I took off and I just blindly ran as fast as I could, and by the time I brought my head up to look, I was at the end. All the kids had touched the line, came back, and the teacher was actually yelling at me. She's like, "Tommy, turn around. We don't have all time. We don't have all day for this."
Oh, she canceled
She
your run.
canceled my run. So, I was just devastated. I came back and I wish I would have kept that poem, whatever lines I wrote, if I even wrote any lines. I
Hmm.
remember that day I went home, looked at myself in the mirror, and that was the first time I saw myself as this pudgy fat kid. And for me, that it was a wake up moment. I was like, "Hey, what the heck? Never again.
Hmm.
What is this?" Right? And so from that moment on, from my freshman year on, I tried to exercise, but everything hurt. Right? Even running or walking hurt. So I just try to control what I eat, and I lost a ton of weight. Just started walking everywhere, and that was the beginning of my fitness journey.
Hmm. When that all went down, how did the other kids react? Were they supportive? Did you hear giggling? I mean, because kids are cruel
Mhm.
and they don't mean to be, but their filter doesn't exist yet. And so they just kind of spout things out. Or did you feel like that was kind of what compressed it into a bigger moment where kids, or was it all about how just your personal feel?
Yeah. So, as I was in middle school, yes, I as I was gaining weight, the kids would make fun of me. They would call me names and stuff. But in my mind, I just blocked all that out. I don't like listening to other people. I'm a very I do a lot of introspective, kind of review of myself,
Yeah.
and I just like how kids are being mean. I'm not, it's I'm not gonna put any weight on their opinions of me.
Hmm.
Um, but when I saw myself as that individual, that was the wake up moment. But the kids, I mean, and from that moment when I saw myself as that fat kid, um, their words started hurting more, right? Because at that point I accepted that, hey, I am a fat kid. I need to do something about this.
Hmm.
And the nickname that really really burned, really sticks with me, was Prego. The
Oh, they
kids would just
went
they
prego
went
on you.
Prego, so they would just be like, "Hey, Prego, get over here." And at first, I mean, in the beginning of all this, right? None of that bothered me. I was like, "Oh, whatever. Kids are stupid."
Yeah, and you can pretend for so long they're talking about delicious pasta sauce, but they're not.
They're not. Correct. But I used all that to help kind of fuel my my drive for exercise and fitness.
And I
Mhm.
feel like that's a big thing. It's like in those moments, you can either use it as fuel or it can bury you.
Mhm.
And anxiety is the same type of thing. You either use it for good or it buries you. And I think that anytime that somebody or something makes you question your self worth and your fitness and those things, especially at a young age, um, when you're not thinking about longevity of how long you're going to live, even at that point, you're just like, I just want to be at least like everybody else in the fact that I want to be able to jog across a field.
Yep.
And now I've never seen a teacher do learning under duress before, though. And I think it's kind of an incredible idea.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if in this day and age they would even do that, because 15, 20 years ago, the teacher kind of has discretion. And now I
Mhm.
feel like they'd be like, well, we don't want anyone to feel that way.
Mhm.
And they may not do it. But and I'm not glad that you went through it,
Mhm.
but it's a stepping stone for you, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah. Oh,
Tommy Vu, the world record holder,
mm,
probably isn't here if you don't do poetry under duress.
correct. Yeah. So and as as I tell you my story, the rest of the story, right? Um, I I don't regret any of it. Like any of those moments, the poetry under duress, the prego comments, the kids, all that. I mean, that built who I am. Right? So
Hmm.
I would never trade that for anything. All of that, all those moments, all those pieces, they fit together to build who I am today. So.
Which is impressive. And I got to say that, there are so many people who ran on that field that day, and I don't know one of them,
Mhm.
but I can guarantee you the majority of them do not look like the guy I'm looking at across from me right now. They're not in your type of shape. And so, you know, whether it's pitfalls or things that lift you up, they're what make you who you are. And it's definitely a tip of the cap for you to have overcame that. Now, what's crazy is you're at 200 pounds, 5'1", and I grew up as a short guy in school, and so I totally get the like you're like basically chasing people height wise already. And some of these guys are grown men by the time they're a freshman, and I was very much not. But when I look at it here, as you cruise through high school, you lose a ton of weight.
Mhm.
I mean, you lose what, 65 pounds?
Right. So yeah, with just the diet, watching what I ate,
And that was most of it.
yeah, well, watching what I ate because, like I said, I couldn't exercise, and then just walking. So I would study and walk. That's how I mean, because I still had to maintain my academics.
I was going to say you uphold the family values,
Yeah.
but you're like, I'm not going to do it in a chair. I'm going to walk around and do this.
So I just walked around. Yeah, I mean, I had no idea what exercise was. I mean, I didn't even know what a push up, a sit up. You see people running. I was like, maybe I should try running.
Mhm.
So, I mean, my roots are, I started at the bottom, like as low as you can go.
Just moving.
Just moving, just movement in general. And that alone. So when people come to me and hey, how did you get here? I was like, man, how much time do you have? Right? You want me to go from the beginning?
It's a
It
process.
is a huge process, but it's that consistent process. Like you just have to do something.
Yeah.
And just sit there and complain about it.
Yeah, and that's a thing for me as well. Is like every fitness thing that I do now, that it has that's any like lots of push-ups, that type of an idea.
Mhm.
People see it as daunting,
Mhm.
but they don't realize that it's just a little bit at a time.
Mhm.
Like none of that nobody just like sits down and breaks the world record for
No.
anything
Yes.
unless you've trained for it, prepared for it. And what we'll get into later is you are kind of like a scientist about it.
I am.
How you break down the plan and everything that goes along with it. But we'll get to that because before you ever become a world record holder, you end up joining the military.
Mhm.
And so tell me about that. Was how much of that? I want to know a couple of things. A, how does your traditional family values dial into that, and how do they feel about it? Because I know my outspoken mother would have a thing or two to say about just the very idea of me going to battle or me to be gone for, in her mind, forever.
Mhm.
So I would love to know about that, but also, yeah, why the military? Like, what was the process there, and was it about getting healthy, or where were you at?
So it was the army, the U.S. Army. I joined because like long story, but my father, so my grandfather, from my mom's side, he was a U.S. soldier.
Oh,
I grew up hearing stories about him. I never met him. So my mother, she grew up as an orphan, so she never met her mother or her father. And so I would grow up hearing all these stories about he would come down in a helicopter into the village, and he was a medical personnel, so he would help take care of the people. And I just adore that. I love that vision of helping people,
yeah.
and so that became a part of my personality, my who I was. And I remember when I was 6 or 7 years old, we had just like a project, a little pet project to make, bring home to your family. And I made a little stuffed frog, and you can pick what different colors and such. I picked camouflage, and
Okay.
I picked camouflage.
Yeah.
I brought it home to my mom, and it was a misshapen frog. I mean, I wish I could find it, but it was a horrible like 7-year-old frog, right?
Yeah.
I gave it to my mom, and my mom's like, "Thank you. What's this?" And I was like, "Oh, mom, I'm going to join the army. This is
This represents
this
that.
represents that." She's like, "You're stupid. You're 6 years old. What do you know? Or you're 7.
Yeah.
What do you know, right?" Um, Fast forward, I don't talk about it at all. Because in our Vietnamese family, we just it's academics. You just talk about
Mhm.
academics. Fast forward until I'm 17. I'm graduating high school. Graduate valedictorian, top of my class, and all that. And so
Impressive.
yeah, so then I applied to this ROTC scholarship. Um, I got selected. The University of Nebraska Lincoln said, "Hey, yeah, we would love to have you. Put me on scholarship. Say, all right, that's welcome on board. You're going to graduate in 4 years as an Army officer. You'd be a second lieutenant." And I was like, "Yeah, great. This is exactly what I want to do." I get to follow my grandpa's footstep, maybe go to med school, go be a medical provider. Um, but when we sign our contract, the first thing you have to do is you have to pass a fitness test.
Oh, and you're still in a place. Now you're down to 135
Mm.
pounds at this point, but you still don't have much muscle mass
No.
or you're fatigued easily, I would guess.
Yes. So pretty much up to that point, my weight loss journey has been just diet and running or walking and running. I mean,
Mhm.
and I'm not running very far, running very fast. I'm just like this consistent, just trying to exercise as much as I can. Uh, I know the fitness has push ups and sit ups and a 2 mile run. I mean, it's pretty standard.
How many push-ups, how many sit-ups do you remember? How many you have to complete?
I want to say it was like 20 push ups or so in 2 minutes. So it's max push ups and max sit ups in 2 minutes each, and then a 2 mile run. I want to say it's under like 16 minutes or something. I don't even remember. What I do remember though is my first fitness test in August when I graduated and started college. I failed miserably.
Ooh,
it was horrible. I mean, I think I did like 10 push-ups,
okay.
and 10 push-ups, and my arms are shaking. I can't even.
And you can't move on until these are completed, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I'm to give you 2 minutes, and the other kids knock out. I think I'm one of maybe three that fail that day, and my push-ups, my sit-ups, my 2 mile run. It's horrible. I'm so embarrassed at that point. And so I got into the army based off my academic endeavors,
Mhm.
not my physical at all. I was not not impressive.
But there's no corners to be cut.
Mhm.
You have to complete it
Mhm.
in order to maintain your spot?
Yep, to maintain my spot. So essentially, the cadre, what they said is, "Hey, um, it's okay. You failed, right? We'll put you on remedial training. We'll let you train with the other." They call them fat kids because usually the skinny kids pass. I was the only skinny kid that didn't pass.
So they put you with the fat
With the
kids
fat kids,
because you weren't passing the test.
correct. And so, here I am. Usually we train Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but
Mhm.
when you're remedial, you do 5 days a week training just to get through. And little by little, they teach me how to do a push up properly, how to do a sit up properly, how to pace your run and not just, go slow or go super fast. Just try to pace your run. And so I learned the fundamentals of these very basic exercise through my cadre and this RTC unit. And part of the program, you have to take a fitness test every month
Okay.
to track your progress.
Yeah, to see where you're getting
Are
to.
you making gains or are you going backwards? Because if you're not making gains and improving, they just drop you. There goes your scholarship.
So you're going to lose the scholarship
Mhm.
if you don't pass the test,
That is correct.
which is motivation in itself.
Oh yeah.
The Fit for Radio podcast is brought to you by Stafford Hills Club. And if you haven't been here, you're definitely missing out. Just voted the #1 health and wellness center in the Portland area, and it shows. You got that saltwater heated pool out there steaming in the morning when you get here. And on top of that, a freshly remodeled workout facility and brand new rooms with classes of all kinds for all types of people, spin classes, you name it. They've got it for you here at Stafford Hills. Hit them up right now, staffordhills.com, to see everything they offer. And really cool right now. You send me a message, DM me, tell me that you're interested. I'll get you 50% off your initiation at Stafford Hills, where they have earned the awards. Let me promise you that they have changed my existence in the last few months. So if you want to make some changes in the new year, let's do it. staffordhills.com. To go back home after that and say that I failed, that basically takes you right back to the poetry challenge
Mhm.
at school. I mean, and you've come at this point, you're not a super athlete, you're not a record holder, but you're making progress and you don't want to go back, I'm guessing.
100%. So every month, I make a little bit of progress. First, I started passing. I think like the push-ups, the sit-ups. First, I passed that, and remember the 2 mile run was the last thing I passed. But it was funny. I would pass certain things and fail certain things. So I would
And to go backwards.
back and forth. But as long as I was making progress, the cadre was willing to keep me on board. And then December tests was the last test. That was the last. If you failed this test, um, then they would drop your scholarship.
And that's it.
Yeah, that was
Just
it.
there's no
There were no
you
ifs.
can't appeal.
You can't appeal this. And so I remember I barely passed. I maybe did one or two extra push-ups, one or two extra sit-ups, and I barely passed my run. And I run past the finish line. I get my 2 mile time. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, screaming and
I bet.
yelling. And the kids around me are the other college students are like, "Mark, dude, you barely passed, bro. What's wrong with you?"
But I passed.
Yeah, but I'm like, but I passed. I got the scholarship. I mean, so at that college level, these kids, they would max out their fitness tests. So we would call them 300s. So top scores would be 100 points per event.
Okay.
So if you got 300 points, that meant you maxed everything out.
That's a big win.
You were the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
You were fit, right? I mean, I was not cream of the crop. I was barely passing. But from that point, what I learned and those from August to December, what I learned in those months was whatever I put my body through, I was going to get better at.
Hmm.
And and you had to work at it. I jumped into the scholarship program thinking, oh, I run, I'm 135 pounds, push up, sit up should be easy, right? But no, just being skinny doesn't mean you're fit, right?
Yeah.
Just because you lost a ton of weight doesn't mean you're healthy, you're fit. You have to exercise. Exercise is where you become stronger.
Hmm.
And so that was a revelation, which I mean, it's probably obvious to most people at that age, but I didn't exercise when I was younger. So for me, it was an eye opener.
Hmm.
But for all these other college kids, they're like, that's obvious. Like,
I totally see where you're coming from, though, because, for myself, even, I always played soccer and
mhm,
some lacrosse and these things. But when it came to actual strength and fitness, and when I got to college and, all your friends are all bigger and they're ripped and they're grown men and they're like, come to the gym with me. And you walk in there and you're like, okay, well, just pick this up and do a couple of these.
yeah.
And humble pie starts getting consumed immediately. And you start to self-deprecate too in those
Mhm.
settings, like with you doing these challenges and when you're in a gym full of college age people and I'm still 140 pounds and like trying desperately to put a couple of pounds on. It's humbling because you're not ready for any of that.
Mhm.
And that's a process that, for myself, that's a many year process. I think that's pretty impressive that you overcame it. You mentioned a quote when we were talking earlier, that there's no shame in being weak, only staying weak.
Mhm.
Now I was trying to find the root of that, and that's an anime quote.
It's an anime quote. So it's from so I'm an anime nerd. My wife and I, we love watching anime.
Yeah.
I
It's
tell
a great quote.
it
I just
is.
figured it came from like one of our forefathers or something, but no, it's from anime.
Yeah, it comes from a character. His name is Fagolion. He's from Black Clover. He's a well established captain, and he is just mentoring his young soldiers essentially.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, it's okay to be weak. It's okay that you were born weak. It's okay that you were not given all the strength and all the powers. But what's not okay is that you give up. You have to train. You have to get better if this is
Mhm.
your path. And I love that, right? Because like I think you understand, we weren't given gifts. We weren't born, like with all the stamina and then the build of these pro athletes
Mhm.
or these Olympians. We were just born with, just very average, if anything.
And
Body
even
type.
not born with the work ethic.
Mhm,
It's like I had, and same with you, just from learning your story, it's learning that work
mhm,
ethic over time. Because when we first met, one of the first things I said to you was, I was born painfully average. And I mean that. And what I mean is just that as we're all coming off this assembly line, right? They're like,
mhm,
okay, here's the deluxe.
mhm.
Here's the high end one. Here's the medium standard issue. Bang. That's me,
Yep.
which is fine because that's just how you come off the shelf.
Mhm.
That's not, you don't stay that figurine if you do something about it. And I'm the guy, even with athletics. I love soccer. I love all that stuff. I'm not a super athlete.
Mhm.
If you look behind my garbage can, there's missed crinkled up papers, a stack of them where I've just missed on repeat. It's because I'm not built to be a super athlete, but you can change the way that you see yourself and the way that others see you. Because in my own fitness journey, it wasn't until I'm years into it that I even thought that anybody would notice. And then somebody would say something, you're like, oh, you don't see me as the painfully average guy
Mhm.
because that's who I have always seen, and that's my fuel.
Yeah.
And I don't know for you when exactly you realized that you were turning that corner, but
So I earned the respect of my soldiers who lived. They're like, oh yeah, Lieutenant Vu, he can exercise. We respect that. We
yeah,
respect this guy. But
yeah,
my runners, they don't respect me. Sir, you lift, you run. I mean, you lift, you do sit-ups, but you don't run. You're not a runner. You'd never beat us. All right, come at me.
that's the challenge
That's the
right there.
challenge. So one of my medics, he comes up to me. This guy barely passes his push-ups, barely passes his sit-ups, but he excels at the run. He runs his 2 miles in like 11 minutes or something like that, right?
Hmm.
And he challenges me to a half marathon. He's like, "There's no way you're gonna beat me at a half marathon, sir." I was like, "Well, give me time." And by this time, that colonel, the doctor, and we've been running a while, so I've secretly been training, and this guy doesn't know
Yeah,
about it, right?
you're coming for
I'm
him.
coming for him. So we signed up for a half marathon, and you have to in Kuwait, right, in the desert. When you run these races, you have to start at like 3 in the morning when it's 90 degrees, because during the day
Yeah,
it's
you'd
like
be toast.
it's 130 degrees when the sun comes
Yeah,
out.
you get overcooked.
Yeah, so we start early in the morning. We start running. He's on the line. I'm on the line, and there's 30, 40 other soldiers running that race that day.
Hmm.
And we take off, we run. By mile like 4 or 5, I've left him in the dust.
You
He's
got him.
gone. He's gone. Not even a competitor. He
Wow,
was, and I don't even say anything. I just passed him, look at him. I just,
you're
you
all
know,
business
I'm
at
all
this point.
business, right? And I'm running, and I'm feeling great about myself. I just smoked this medic who's been talking a bunch of smack about me.
Yeah,
And I'm like, man, when I get back to my platoon, my people can be like, hey, Lieutenant Vu, you got him. And I'm running probably so a half marathon's like 13 miles, probably mile 10 or so. I remember this vividly too. There's this guy comes, tall, lengthy dude, comes running next to me. I hear his footstep in the sand next to me, and he's got this Iron Man tattoo. The
yeah,
yeah, Iron Man, the red tattoo on his calf.
dangerous.
Danger. I didn't know that. I didn't know what that was. I
Hmm.
mean, right? So he shows up next to me. He looks at me. He's like, "Good pace, buddy." Chum. Takes off.
Gone.
What the heck? And I'm running my heart out here. I am running as hard as I can. This dude is much older than I am too, right? And so I I tried as hard as I can. I'm not gonna let this guy beat me. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna let him beat me. I'm right there. There's only another 5K left. I'm there, and he I see him at the finish line, and I was hoping he would stop so I could talk to him. He runs past the finish line, and he keeps going.
Where's
So
he going?
the race, there's a half marathon race and a full marathon race.
And he's running the
And
full.
he's running the full, and he smoked me. He beat
He
me.
smokes you through the half, and he's got another half
Yeah,
left. Like he's got plenty in the
he's
tank.
got plenty in the tank. So I show up, I cross the finish line, and my unit's there. They're happy. Hey, sir, you beat him. Way to
Yeah,
go. Good job. Way to go. High fives all around. And in my heart, I was not happy. I was
you'd
like,
failed in your own
I
heart.
failed. I mean, I beat the guy, but I was like, it's that Iron Man guy that just beat me. And you know, he disrespected me, right? He
Hmm.
called me buddy. That became one of the trigger words.
Don't call me buddy.
Don't call me, like, you don't know who I am. You don't know the hell that I've gone through to get here. And the condescending, hey, good pace, buddy, and then to take off, like, who the heck are you?
That's amazing.
So I stand there for probably a good minute or two, just like this fire, like,
You're stewing.
do I finish? Do I go celebrate with my unit, or do I go take off after this guy? And mind you, I did not train for this. I trained to run the 10 miler, so a half marathon would be okay. And I'm like, nah, there's no way. I'm not gonna let this guy beat me. I'm gonna catch him.
And so in the moment, you make this decision.
I make the moment halfway through the marathon, right? So I take off, and my unit's like, "Where are you going, sir?" Food's over here. And I was like, "I'll catch up with you guys later. I've got to catch this guy." And they have no idea what's going on. They're like, "Lieutenant Vu's delirious.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Running in the desert. He's going crazy out here." So I'm running and running the sand, the desert, just running, trying to catch this guy. And as I pass people, I'm looking for that Iron Man tattoo, right? Um, and I don't see it. I don't see it. I keep running, mile 20, and I'm struggling. I'm hurting. Things are
I
cramping.
can imagine.
My feet are bleeding. I mean, but I'm gonna catch this guy. I'm gonna see him, right?
Yeah.
Probably it was probably like mile 24. I mean, right at the end of the
You
race.
only got a couple left.
Got a couple left, right? And at the finish line, they have these two fire trucks, and they have their ladders up, and there's like spraying. It's not a big fire truck; it's a small fire truck, okay,
Yeah.
but it's spraying water on us. And I could see it in the outline off the distance, but I see a guy. I'm like, oh man, I wonder if that's him.
You see that tattoo?
Oh no, I don't see him that far, so I run as I can see the line. I'm going to sprint to the end. So just about 2-3 miles left. So I run as fast as I can. Finally, I catch up. I see the tattoo. I'm motivated. I mean, I don't care what pain I'm in. I'm going to catch this guy. So I see a tattoo. I run up to him, right next to him. I compose myself, fix myself, stand up straight. I look up because he's tall. Hey, good pace, buddy. And I take off. And I mean, there's probably a mile left in the race. Take off. I finished, cross the finish line, and I'm in miserable pain.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
mean,
be
I am
hurting.
so much pain. I pass my unit. One of my first sergeant catches me, and he's like, "Sir, you all right?" And I'm like, "I did. I beat him, right?" And then here comes the Iron Man guy, comes behind me, comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, great run." But he looks refreshed. He looks like he does this all
No
day.
problem.
No problem. He runs.
You're on the edge of death.
He's like patting my back. He grabs a banana, his Gatorade drink, and he just walks off to his unit like business as usual.
Like that was nothing.
And I'm over here dying. I'm on the ground. People are having to hold me up. They're like, "You all right?" I was like, "I hurt. Everything hurts."
Oh yeah.
And my unit's like, "Sir, why'd you do that?" I was like, I had to catch that guy. Nobody understands. Like,
But you use those things as motivators, right? Like it's not nearly as cool as that. But the first time that I ever did 100 push-ups in a row was it was my birthday,
yeah.
and we were at my house, and a family member, I was like, yeah, I can, almost do 100 push-ups. I just haven't really tried it. And they're like, I get not a chance from across the room.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I just remember thinking, and this is so early in my fitness journey, and I remember thinking, nah, that's not happening. And so I just get down right there and just start pounding them out. And at about 65, I'm like, uh-oh. And so I'm just grinding it out. And I got that 100 just on pure fire, and you're not going to tell me. It was back to that painfully average kid who was going to prove to somebody that that's not the thing. When I got done, I stood up. I bet you my head looked like a radish. And I remember I looked at them all. I was like, see? And I walked out on the porch, and I was walking around in my own backyard in the pitch black, like spitting like a camel, like trying not to throw up. I was just so destroyed. Like everything was hurting across my chest. And I was just like, one way or another, you're not gonna go, no.
Yeah.
And it was just in that moment. It's that same thing. Like when he called you buddy, he probably didn't even think twice about it, but he clicked your switch.
Yeah. Something happened. But yeah, no, I totally respect that. Because I felt that. I mean, I felt that numerous times in my life where people doubt you, right? It's like you've said, we are very painfully average individuals.
Mhm.
We are. I mean, you see me walking on the street, you're not going to think I'm an impressive specimen.
That you're going to have a pile of awards for breaking records.
Yeah. But yeah, so from those individuals that doubted us, right? You have a choice. Do you listen to them, or do you prove them wrong? Right?
Mhm.
And I think you and I, we like to prove people wrong. Right?
Exactly. And if you allow them to win, there's nothing positive that comes from it. It's like, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you're right. And then you get all self-deprecated, and they just have like this false sense of being correct when really you could do it the whole time. It's just, do you think you can do it?
Mhm.
And, sometimes it's the greatest motivator when somebody tells you that you're not good enough or you're not strong enough. And you just kept going and going. I mean, you did all these things while you're still in the military, but that wasn't good enough for you. You had more goals, more records. And I think everything, and we're going to get into some of these world records and your world record journey here real quick. And I definitely know how you feel about hitting the wall. because attempting to chase any of your records in general leads you to the wall. I will be able to tell you about that firsthand. But when you first started doing the journey for world records, first thing you tried was the burpee
Mhm.
world record. Now, you had a plan like you always do, but that didn't go the way you had expected.
Yeah. So between 2020 and 2021, for whatever reason, the algorithm and Google News fed me this article about a Canadian CrossFitter that just broke the world record for most chest to ground burpees in 1 hour.
Okay.
And I think all of us, we've grown up reading those Guinness World Record books, and we're like, oh wow, the longest fingernails, the longest eyelashes. Like, oh, that's so cool,
I
right?
always loved that book.
Right? Yeah, it's always holographic and shiny.
Yeah.
Um, but how many of us have ever dreamt of being in that book? Yeah, like it was just a cool thing to have.
Hmm.
I didn't realize Guinness had fitness records. If I had known before, I would have chased after them sooner, right? But I hear about this CrossFitter guy. He did 800 and change burpee, chest ground burpees in an hour. And I watched the video, right? I found the link, found the video, and he's a fit dude, dropping down, doing his burpees in his box at CrossFit. He's got his family, his dog around him, and man, this is cool. Loves all the support and everything. I'm watching him, and I'm like, I could do better.
Hmm.
I could totally do better. That's impressive, but I could do better, right?
Yeah.
So I go and I start training. So this was probably 2021 timeline. So this is during that time when I'm training for ultras and endurance events. I'm not lifting as heavy anymore.
You're finding that new identity, this post army workout identity,
Mhm.
which is actually coming into shape at this
It
point.
is, yeah. So I just started out at 100 burpees. How fast can you do 100 burpees? And I think there's an online like calculator thing where they're like, hey, if you're fit, you can do 100 burpees in 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, I got this. And I do it 100 burpees in 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, I felt good. Let's do 200, 300. And I slowly, add more reps. And so what I do is I take the teachings of running and I apply it to lifting techniques and lifting more lifting movements. And so I take all the lessons I've learned in running, apply it to burpees, and I slowly increase my reps. But the crazy thing with this first record was as I'm improving my reps and getting more reps in, the record is growing.
Yeah.
So it goes from the Canadian, then it goes through South America. It's a couple MMA guys.
They're making your life harder.
They're making it harder. It's like 800, then 850, 900, 950.
And this doesn't deter you.
Well, it definitely gets in your head, right? But I've learned from my ultra running, like, hey, feel the emotion, feel it, let go of it, right?
Hmm.
And so I set up. Oh, and throughout all this, I forget to mention this. The reason that I want to do this thing is, I'm like in my mind, how cool would it be for my sons to Google Dad Tommy Vu, right? When they grow up and they're in school, Google Dad and be like, hey, dad chased after a world record. He had a world record. Like, how cool is that? So they can share that with their dads. Or when they have that talk on the playground, my dad's stronger than your dad, or my dad can
Hmm.
kick your dad's butt.
Like, I actually can guarantee it.
I can guarantee you, my dad, you know. So that also drove me and motivated me. So
Mhm.
throughout this journey, I look for motivations in everything, right? In every aspect of my life, I try to find motivation. My patients, those who get hurt, have traumatizing injury, where they're no longer able to exercise, but they want to, and that desire, like I feel that for them. So I take all the motivation, everything throughout my life. Anybody I meet that I take whatever positive I can, suck it all up.
Mhm.
Right? So try to be as positive of as an individual as I can, and I just train and exercise, try to get the burpees. And come December 2022, my wife and I, so we were dating at this time. We weren't married yet, but my girlfriend and I, right? I'm like, all right, babe, I'm gonna do it. Today's the day, right? So we set up the camera and we're going. And the day before, I'd done a really heavy workout mistakenly. I don't know why. I should have known better, but but I didn't respect the burpees and then this record.
You just thought you'd
I
crush
just
it.
thought I'd crush it. So I show up and I do, and I'm going. I'm on pace. I get about 400 or 500 in, and I'm done. I just I can't get off the ground anymore. I can't do any more burpees. It's embarrassing. My wife's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "I don't I don't want to do this anymore. It hurts. I'm done."
Yeah, and you're far away from the goal at
Yeah,
that
I think the
point,
goal was like 900, like low 900s at that point.
and you're below halfway. You're-
Below, yeah. I mean, I have the time. I can still go if I want, but I hurt,
It's
and
just not happening.
I don't want to anymore. My mind wasn't there. And so my girlfriend was like, "Oh, that's okay. We'll pack it up, clean up everything, clean up the sweat off your mat, and go finish your workout." Because I always give myself an hour a day. I got to work out an hour a day.
Yeah.
So I'll go finish my workout, and it's inside of me like, man, why did I stop? Right. And I don't do a burpee for a couple of weeks. Then my girlfriend comes up, and she's like, "You gonna go back and get that record again?" I was like, "No, I don't feel like it. Like it's, I'll go after something else. Like, who am I to go get a record? Like, I'm just a regular dude, babe."
So you were kicking rocks a little
Yeah.
bit.
I'm like, "Babe, I'm not gonna do it." Like these guys who do it, they live at the gym, they have their own gyms. They're not out here taking care of patients and going to surgery. They don't have a full time job like I do. Uh, so I started making excuses. I start, "Oh no, it's not for me. It's not for me."
Hmm.
And come 2023, something inside of me just burns, and I just, man, I gotta, I can't let this go. This feeling inside of me, this burn, same feeling I got when that guy passed me on the marathon. Same feeling I got when the guy challenged me to a race. All that, like that burning inside, that fire inside. I was like, I had to do something about this. So I set up a day. I go to the gym that day right after work. I put a mat, put my music, my water. You are not leaving this field until you get 1,000 burpees. Okay.
And that's it.
That's it. I don't give myself an out. There is no excuse. There is no, I don't, my girlfriend was at the gym, but she was elsewhere. I just picked out a small little corner on the turf, away from the crowd, away from everything. I'm going to do 1,000 burpees, or I'm not getting off this field. Okay?
Hmm.
I lock it in and I go. And I'm going. The first half, I always tell people, is doable. You with the amount of training I do, the first half is easy. The second half, right? The second half is where, if your heart is in it, you'll do it. If your heart's not there, you're gonna give up. And I'm like, you gotta do it. You gotta get 1,000 burpees. The record is 900 ish, but you're gonna
You're gonna beat it.
right? You're gonna get 1,000, right?
Mhm.
No matter what they have, you're gonna get 1,000. So I go, and 600, 700, 800. Oh man, I'm gonna do it. I got just 200 more. It's easy, right? And I'm so high right now, so happy. Boom, just knock them out, knock them out, knock them out, and eventually, boom, 1,000 reps, 1,000 burpees, and I got it in 1 hour, 60 minutes on pace. Everything went well,
Nice.
and all by myself. Nobody. I mean, people at the gym, and I'm sure they're like, "Who the heck is this guy?
Yeah,
What is he? What is he doing?"
He lost his mind. The Fit for Radio podcast is brought to you by Stafford Hills Club. It is the premier health and wellness center in Portland and was just voted that. And you can see when you come here, they have high-end workout facilities, a saltwater pool that's heated. The steam coming off that in the morning is just second to none. And of course, my wife loves the classes here, and the kids club, so good and so gentle with my little girl who can be a little rowdy. But they're amazing. Check them out, staffordhills.com. And if you like the place like I do, send me a message or leave me a comment, and I'll get you 50% off your initiation at staffordhills.com.
But come find my wife or my girlfriend. I'm like, "Babe, guess what? I did it. I did 1,000 burpees." And she looks at me and she's like, "Well, good job, but what'd you do to your face?" So I had smacked my face so hard with those 1,000 reps.
It's on repeat.
Yeah, I had this line, this like turf burn. I had turf burn my nose.
You had got so intense that you just forgot about your own face.
I was smacking the ground so hard.
That's amazing.
And imagine how embarrassed I was showing up to work with this line on my nose, right? But I wasn't embarrassed. I was proud.
Yeah.
People are like, "What happened to your face?" I did 1,000 burpees yesterday.
See, yeah, that's legit. Normally, a rug burn on your face, there's no way out of it, but this is good stuff.
This is good. Yeah. And my patients and my team are like, "Oh, so you're going back on the record? You're gonna go do it?" I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And then I heard a podcast where one of these motivational speakers saying, "You got to put a date down on a calendar. If you just say you're gonna do something, you're just gonna do it, and without a date, there is no commitment."
You can't be held accountable.
Yeah. So I pick a day. Day escapes me right now. I think it's like March 27th. That was going to be the day, and it's a Friday after work. So my usual workout. I told people, hey, I'm going to go to work, and then after work, we're going to meet up at the gym, camera crew. This time, I bring a crowd. I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of a crowd,
Yeah.
and
It's
so
your motivation.
everybody's all there, and I have my pacing. I've got my music, my water, my family. And we just go. And the day of, I do 1,003 burpees. Guinness reviewed it and said my last one I was still in the air, so it doesn't count. So I lost one, but 1,002 still impressive. So I now hold. Well, I now made an official attempt, and it took Guinness 3 months to count everything.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah. So from point of so when you apply to say to break a record, it takes 3 months for them to verify you. So when you say, "Hey, I'm going to break a record," from that moment, when you contact Guinness, it takes them 3 months to review the case, make sure that you're a legitimate human being and that you're going to actually do this and you're not just wasting their time. So I I wait 3 months. Did all that already. Once you break the record, you submit all your evidence. You have to have a trainer or somebody who sports to count your reps. You have to have an audience or make it a public event. It can't just be just you and your buddy.
Yeah.
Counting your reps. Right?
Makes
It's
sense.
got to be official. But yeah, I get my certificate, and it's my favorite certificate.
It's the first one.
The first one, number one,
Mhm.
1,002 reps. I took it from some guy. I don't even know where, right? But I did it. Broke a record.
And that's forever. I mean, I do feel this, that if you break one of those records, even if it ends up being broken,
Mhm.
just to be able to say you were the record holder at some point, and you continued your hunger to break these records. Um, but you also decided that you were going to do something for good tied into all of this. Now, you already, I mean, you got two great little boys that you're dedicating this stuff to, Liam and Adonis.
Yes.
Now, as their dad, you also took it to another level to where they're not just going to be proud of you for completing the records, but also you started raising money for people in need.
Yeah. So after my first record, so little known fact, but there's multiple versions of burpees. There's just chest to ground burpees. There's the traditional burpees so a traditional burpees, you don't have to do a push up. The push up was added on much later on.
In a prison yard somewhere.
Well, actually, if you want the history of the burpee, so I became obsessed with the exercise as I went through my fitness journey for the record. The burpee was actually created by Dr. Royal Burpee of.
And that's where the name comes
That's
from.
where the name came from. So he was a sports exercise a Navy doctor or Navy professor, and he created the exercise as his thesis to quickly assess an individual's fitness.
Okay.
And so what he would have them do is just so a straight arm burpee. So you just drop down into the straight arm, feet out behind you into a plank position, hop back up. That's one rep. So there's not even a jump. It's just a straight out and stand up, straight out, stand up. And he would have you do a certain number of reps. So he'd measure your heart rate before you do your reps, and then have you do a certain amount of reps. And then he would measure your heart rate again. Then he would track and see how long it took your heart rate to return back to your baseline. And that was how he quickly assessed the an individual's fitness, whether or not they were fit enough for the military. So I mean, when I found that out, right? Oh, this is my record.
I was going to say, this is
I'm a
something.
military
Yeah,
guy.
this is all right up your alley. It's almost like destiny.
Exactly. So I reached out and I learned the movement. But yeah, I broke the chest to ground burpees right in March of 2023, and then I said, hey, there's another burpee version, very similar. It's called the push up burpee, where your chest hits the ground. But so the chest to ground burpees, the motion you have to move your hand off to the side and come back in together. So
Okay.
there's almost like a hand release, if you will. But whereas a push up burpee, your hand just stays down. You're just doing a regular push up burpee. The more traditional CrossFit style. And I'm like, oh, this one's mine too. I'll take this one as well. And so I train, and I already broke 1,000 there. Right? Easily break this one too.
Yeah.
And during this process, as I was training, I learned one of my friends, colleague, a PA, she gets diagnosed with brain cancer.
Oh,
She's young. She's like 3-4 years younger than me. She's about my sister's age. She gets diagnosed with brain cancer. And I'm like, what the heck? And it eats me up inside. Like I want to do something to help her.
mm-hmm.
But she's very private, and so I talked to my wife. I'm like, babe, I want to do something for her. Like, what do you think? And she's like, well, why don't you raise money for her? Do something. And I was like, raise money how? She's like, world record stuff. Just do something with the world record. You can. And so,
Easy peasy.
easy peasy. So I was like, right, babe, you're right. I should do that. And so I just reach out to people in my community, like, hey guys, I'm going to break a world record. I already broke one. I'm going to break this one too. I want to dedicate. Let's get some money raised for our friend, right?
So you start pledging.
So I start getting people to pledge, and so the doctor I work with, he's like, yeah, dude, I'll pay you $1 burpee, $1 burpee. Okay,
That's a lot of cash.
so then you know what? I'll take that. So I said, you do $1 burpee, I'll do $1 burpee. Then a couple of other people pledged $1, but they were kind of flakes. So but this generated a lot of buzz. People are like, oh, hey, Tommy's going to dedicate $1 burpee. I'll throw in $20 here and there. And from there, we just grew this pot of money. And then it was like September 7th, I think, 2023. It was Labor Day. I reached out to one of our local gyms, West Coast Gym in Salem. Really friendly gym. Really just excited about this event, and we set up our cameras. And K2 News was out there,
Nice.
recording. They heard about the story, and so all these people were out there recording. And I just dropped down and started knocking out my burpees. That day, I ended up doing 1,000. Was it 1,071 burpees in 1 hour? Super excited, super pumped. All the money goes to my friend. I think that all in all, we raised like $17,000 for her.
Huge.
And I'm so excited, so happy. K2 News writes a report. They call me an everyday hero. They have me under their everyday hero segment. My patients are seeing me on TV. They love it.
Oh, I know the segment. That's pretty classic.
Yeah. And I'm so proud, so happy. And then I collect all the evidence, submit it to Guinness, right? And I'm like, there goes number 2. I've got 2 records now. 3 months later, they reach out, disqualified.
Why?
So in my burpee, there is a line right at the hip that my feet are supposed to come up to every single rep. If my feet don't touch that line, it doesn't count. And during the event, I had positioned myself really close to the mirror because we just didn't have enough room on the turf. It was all logistics.
Yeah.
But the camera guy asked me to move back, and I forgot to move my line with me. And so I go, right, and I'm devastated. I'm like, what do you mean it didn't count? Right? I was so sad, so disappointed in myself that I was like, why didn't you just move the line, bro? Like, it was right there. Just move the line. You would have got this record. And I was disappointed. But K2 News picked up the story. And all the people, all the positivity, all the good that we had done with this. My wife's like, fine, just redo it. So my wife, she's
your motivator.
She's my motivator. She's like, you did it before, just do it again.
It's just that easy.
I'm like, babe, it's
not
right.
easy.
You're right. I just got to do it again, right? So,
but it's hard not to kind of get in your own way on it, because you already went through the process of getting the crowd there and everything. It's like, we got to do it again.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. I'll just reschedule, redo this. But during this time, Good Morning America reaches out. So the K2 News, the Everyday Heroes reached out. They said, hey, we love your segment, love what you're doing, breaking world record for charity. Sounds like amazing. We'd love to have you on the show. So my wife and I are like, yeah, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. So they invite my friend who, to come out to Good Morning America as well. But she's like I said, she's a lot more private, and then so she didn't want to be on this national TV. And she said, no, why don't you go out there? And so I tell Good Morning America, hey, my friend doesn't want to come. And they're like, oh no, that's fine. We still want to talk to you. We want to see who you are and everything. And I'm doing all these like mock interviews and talks with them. And the one of their assistant producers, he's like, you know what? Um, let's plan for something bigger. And I was like,
Okay.
what do you mean?
What does that mean?
What does this mean? It's like, you break a record on TV? And I was like, well, I do hour-long records. You guys want to record me for an hour? I was like, no. You like a minute?
I got no time. I got 1 minute.
They're like, listen, we'll give you 3 minutes, a 3-minute segment. That's how much time you're gonna get. And I was like, okay, I guess I could try to break a 1-minute record. Yeah, but yeah, that's because and the guy's like, man, you don't seem like much of a talker. Let's just have you break a record on TV. Is that okay?
Oh man, you're like I'm a great
I'm like,
talker.
I'm like, yeah, I guess. And so I'm frantic. I was already training for the other one, right? Because I was going to redo it. But I'm looking on the 1 minute records. What can I break? And the one that I got closest to was the burpee pull up. Just a straight burpee into a pull up. I could do 20 at my baseline in a minute. And I was like, oh, the record's 25. I can squeeze in 5 more.
Which, for people who don't know, let's just point this out. That is daunting to do that in a minute. I mean, and I've tried a lot of these endurance things where it sounds like, okay, yeah, just you could do that. Most people cannot do that 1 or 2 times. Like to the second pull up, it's like you're gassed. The burpee is tough enough, but you add the pull up, it's very tough. But the way you talk about it, it's like, well, then I had a sip of water.
Yeah,
it's tougher than it sounds.
It is. But I had to. So that record was the most technical record I had to train for, because you only have a minute, right? If you just slip on one, you've lost it. So you had to be perfect. And so I went, and this was probably around like October, November timeline that Good Morning America reaches out, and they're like, listen, we got a recording early December. Can you make it? Well, I've got a month, maybe 6 weeks to break this record. And so I watched the video. I watched the young man from India do his record. He did 25 reps in a minute, and he's fast. Just drop, push, drop, pull, right? And he's quick. But what I noticed was his pull up bar is set, so he probably has to jump maybe like 6 inches to the pull up bar.
Oh, so he's giving him it's extra work.
So extra work, and so I start analyzing it, and my science mind goes and all the little diagrams, and then
you're back in the beautiful mind.
Like, you know what? If I shorten that bar right at my fingertips, because part of the standard, you can't just jump up on the bar. You can't just jump up. You have to start in a dead hang to pull. And so I see this kid, and I start figure out where the bar length is, and the gym, West Coast Strength, they're very helpful. They're like, hey, whatever length you need, we'll set that bar for you. So
Awesome.
the bar is set really high for most tall people to jump up. So they have a short bar for me, right?
Yeah.
Right at my fingertips, perfect height,
saving you time and energy.
Yeah. So then I start knocking them out, and with that one adjustment, I go from 20 reps to 22 reps. I squeeze 2 in. Now I'm like, all right, you need to be able to get 4 more to get 26 to beat this guy. And so what I start doing is working on my explosive pull. Right? So I get on the lat pull down, do a lot of like lat pulls, quick boom,
doing the quick pop,
yeah, quick pops. And I'm old too. I'm like, I think I started this when I was 35, right? So I'm 35. I'm not a young buck anymore.
It becomes harder with time.
It is. And so I work my fast twitch. And then the other thing I have control over is my weight, right? I sit at a comfortable maybe 150. I walk around 150. I'm happy with that. I need to drop below.
You're 150 now.
I'm 150 now.
That's an impressive 150. The Fit for Radio podcast is brought to you by Stafford Hills Club. If you haven't been here, you're missing out. It's where I work out and also where I work in high-end equipment in the gym. Of course, state-of-the-art facilities, not just the saltwater pool that's heated, also indoor and outdoor tennis, and the classes are also truly amazing. If you want to check it out, staffordhills.com to see all the amenities. And if it's up your alley, like it is mine, come hang out with me and I'll get you 50% off of your initiation fee. Just send me a comment right here on this video and we will dial you in, or just send me a personal message and you can come down and grind it out. See if we can't change our lives in the new year. And of course, sauna, steam room, the whole thing make me feel like some sort of special person there with a hot towel around my neck. StaffordHills.com.
So I drop below my plan is to drop to 140. And with MMA, I learned how to cut weight. So I'm combining
all the history here.
All the history is coming together. So I dropped down to 140, explosive pull, short bar, and I'm like I get 25 reps. I'm like, there, I made it. But 25 reps, they don't share Guinness World Records. They don't say, hey, this person and this person did this record. It's just you either got it or you don't.
Okay.
So I now I'm sitting at the record. I need to squeeze out one more, right? And so I'm sitting there. I remember one night I would sit there, watch his video on repeat just for dinner. My wife would be scrolling on her Instagram. I'm over there watching this kid. Oh man. Okay. What is he doing? What else can I do? I'm watching my videos. What else can I do to squeeze in more reps?
Because it's almost like a race car. Like you're trying to get fractions of a second off of that so that you can get another one.
Just another. So what I realized is I was just dropping. So when you do a pull up, you come down and you just let go of the bar. I realized if I push myself off the bar, I would gain a fraction of a second. So literally what I'm doing is plank, come up, pull, push. Pull, push. And I'm launching myself off the bar.
And you're getting a fraction of a second each burpee.
Just enough. But it's dangerous. I hit myself a couple times.
I
push myself so hard, I land on the ground. But you just have to practice your timing and when to push, when to pull, when to push, when to pull. And the day of, I think like a couple of days before, I did break it. I think 27 or so. And I was like, oh, I got this. I'm done. This is it. And everybody in the community, they know that I'm going on Good Morning America. All my friends are like, hey, I'm gonna log on, wake up early, watch this segment. We're gonna cheer you on from Oregon. So my wife and I, we fly in to New York City. Good Morning America has a driver, a limo. I mean, the whole thing. They drop us off at this beautiful hotel.
You're in New York City. You feel like you're on top of the world.
Yes, and we're like 4 blocks away from the studio. So I was planning on walking there in the morning, and the driver's like, no, meet me here, and I'll drive you there. 4 blocks, I can walk that.
Yeah,
do my warm up. No, we don't want you to walk through here. So they take good care of us, right?
Door to door service.
Door to door. And we fly in, I think at like 9, 10. It was late at night. And the time difference, I mean, I can't sleep that night. I'm all nervous. You're going on Good Morning America. What if you fail? I mean, you're going to be a national television failing,
Because the human in you, I mean, no matter how much you plan, the human in you still has that in the back of your head that this could go sideways.
It didn't go sideways. And the morning of the event, I meet up with the assistant producer that I've been talking online with. And he's super friendly. He's like, yeah, we're all ready for you. They set up the bar just like the height I wanted. The material's a little bit different. It's not as grippy, but I brought my own chalk. I'm ready. I thought of contingencies and such.
Yeah.
And as we're walking down the hall to this, so he lets me practice during one of the commercial breaks. And as we walk down there, I look at him. I'm like, has anybody ever broken a world record on Good Morning America before? Just a curiosity. And he's like, oh yeah, we had an individual a couple years ago attempt the largest pancake or something like that.
Exact same thing.
And then I was like, well, did he break it? Did they win? And he goes, no, it was a disaster. And then this guy goes, yeah, so we're very, very hopeful that you break this. And I was like, oh,
Now you've got the weight of them
yeah,
on
I
you
got the
too.
weight of that. And then and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I've been training really hard. I'm going to break it today. And he goes, yeah, but in case you don't, we have a script for that as well.
That's
I'm just
amazing.
like, and so I'm trying to laugh it off, like, oh, ha, 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 like, oh, yeah. Like, we show up to the studio. The hosts, they're so friendly. I mean, these
Mhm.
guys they're celebrities, right? But they're so friendly. They're like, hey, you're gonna break this record? Like, yeah, they're pumping me up. The camera guys, the studio, like, there's a lot of people behind when you see these people on Good Morning
It's a
America,
lot of
a
staff
lot
back
of
there.
staff, yeah. They're all cheering. They're all like, "Hey, you got this, gay. Hey, forget about them. Let's do it. Just break this record." And this whole time, by the way, I brought on the team red, white, and blue for this record to just kind of exposure for the team red, white, and blue, and also for veterans.
Awesome.
hmm
And
Um,
now you have that on you too.
well, yeah, they're behind me, and my wife is there, and we just flew out. Oh, and then I forgot too. Jeez, Louise. November 11th, my wife gave birth to our second baby.
So now you've got at least this is the other kind of motivation.
Yeah, so I've got
This is fire.
my two boys. We had just, this is December 1st. So our baby's probably 2.5 weeks old. We left him with grandma, my wife, myself. So I left my baby at home, and in my mom, like, I for me to leave my baby, come here and fail,
Not a
that
good.
wasn't gonna fly.
Yeah, that's not going to be a good long term story.
Yeah. So drop down, ready, 3, 2, 1, go, boom, 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 right? And the Guinness World Record. So Good Morning America flew out their own Guinness World Record counter,
Oh,
like
nice.
like an officiator, like a pro person. And so she's able to sit there and officiate this whole record for me. Um, she does a count, right? And she doesn't tell me. She does a count. She's got to go back review the video. Finish. I'm like, "Ooh, okay, did I do it?" On the count, it said 28. Um, and they break the commercial, but I was like, "Hey, man, good job, way to go! Yeah, I think you got it, 28." He comes out, and she does this whole play, like, "Well, Tommy Vu, how do you feel and all this?" I'm like, "Just tell me the number.
Oh
Just tell me the
man.
number, right?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, so you're officially amazing. You did 26 reps. Thank you." And she gives you this. She hands me this the certificate, the plaque, and I'm like, sweet, I got another world record, and everybody's happy and cheering. Then Good Morning America does something that I was not expecting. They turn around and they say, hey, we see what you're doing. You're trying to motivate the community, raising money for people. We want to do something for you. And they hand me this big old check for $15,000.
They gave you 15
They
grand.
gave me 15 grand for breaking a record.
That's amazing.
And they hand it to me, and they're like, this is your money. You do whatever you want with it. Right? And I come home. I'm like super excited. All the family, all the friends around here, they all saw the video. People are pumped up. I'm getting tons of texts on my phone from people. Hey, congratulations. I saw you on TV.
Yeah.
Um, on the flight home, I'm like, what am I going to do with this money? I felt like it wasn't my money to spend.
Mhm.
This is money that um I wanted to give back to people. And so that begins my $15,000 give back, where I pick records and I go $1 a rep, and I just give the money away. I think right now I'm up to just shy of $12,500 that I've given away,
That's awesome.
just to communities. And I mean, I've donated to youth athletics, a buddy who's battling ALS, brain cancer research, family building blocks, Oregon Humane Society. I mean,
Yeah, you've got. When I'm looking down your list here, it's you've helped a ton of people where it could have been all about you. You found a way to involve the community
Mhm.
and to help others, which is super impressive. I mean, I feel like you and I could sit here and talk forever
Mhm.
because I'm like the diet version of your soda. Like you're the real deal. I'm like the knockoff, the one they like that the grocery store makes. But it's the same ideas, and so much in fact that when I saw that you broke the push-up record. I did what you do. Well, part of it, I failed to do the second part. The first part was I was like, did some quick math. I know that I can do push-ups, and I've got to have you on because this today is your story, but we got to have you on again sometime to just talk about push-ups and the journey, because the only reason I thought that I could break your record was when the pandemic started, I didn't know what to do. I did 1,500 push-ups every day for a year.
Nice.
And I had little babies. And so I didn't know what to do just to be a dad. And so I just started doing push-ups. I got done with that year and I was kind of like you. I'm like, I don't know what to do next. So I did 2,000 push-ups every day for a year. And then the third year I did 2,500 push-ups and I was like, okay, that's it. And then a buddy of mine motivated me. He goes, you're so close to 1 million in a year. And I go, shut up. And he's like, no, do the math. And I'm like, well, it's like 27 something to do that. And I'm like, well, if I did 2,800 a day, then I'd be good. And what that requires is getting up, doing it all morning, and then going to work. And then actually at work in a production studio, which had no windows, I would do 500 or 600 at work and then finish at night. And, like, I think my wife forgot my name because I did it for so long. But the only reason I bring that up is a few months ago, a friend, when he sent me your record, I thought, okay, well, I can just do the math on that. I'd do a ton of push-ups. I'll just pound this out, right? And when it all came down to it, I set it up. We're at the Stafford Hills Club right now recording this podcast, a beautiful facility. And I called up my buddy here and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about breaking this guy's record, this Tommy Vu guy. He lives right down the freeway in Salem. I'm doing the math. I've got him. I've got him beat here. And at the time, I didn't know that you're willing to re-break everyone's records. So I'm like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. I brought a group just like you did. I have my dad and my brother were there and they had the little finger counter. Yeah. There's two of them because what people don't know, when you do that many push-ups, it bruises their finger. Like you can't keep doing it on the old school metal clicker like your gym coach or whatever would have. So we bring it out. We've got the camera crews. We've got the studio. We've got the social media people there, the whole deal. And I tried to break your record. And I was on pace for a half an hour before it starts to deteriorate. And at first I'm like, I'm going to do 60 40s. I'm going to do 60 push-ups. I'm going to take a break on my knees. I'm going to do 40 push-ups. The Fit for Radio podcast is brought to you by Stafford Hills Club. And if you haven't been here, you're definitely missing out. Just voted the #1 health and wellness center in the Portland area, and it shows. You got that saltwater heated pool out there steaming in the morning when you get here. And on top of that, a freshly remodeled workout facility and brand new rooms with classes of all kinds for all types of people, spin classes, you name it. They've got it for you here at Stafford Hills. Hit them up right now, staffordhills.com, to see everything they offer. And really cool right now, you send me a message, DM me, tell me that you're interested. I'll get you 50% off your initiation at Stafford Hills, where they have earned the awards. Let me promise you that they have changed my existence in the last few months. So if you want to make some changes in the new year, let's do it. staffordhills.com. You know, when you were breaking records earlier and you were like, well, I didn't think about X, Y, and Z, which aren't the actual record. What I didn't think about was that my knees would be devastated after this. So I had two mats. I had my home mat, which I've been doing 6 years of push-ups on, which is trash. Like my wife goes, you going to bring that dirty old mat into that nice studio? I'm like, yeah. Because that's where we did every push-up at. And it's got these little like elephants on it. It's a silly mat. But
I love it.
So I bring that thing and I'm grinding it out. And halfway through, I'm like, oh my God, my knees. I have two mats, my mat with a mat under it. Those knees, aside from the record, hurt for weeks after that. I'd walk upstairs and the jeans would touch them and I could feel like almost like they were, like the nerves were dead in the front of my knees. Well, as I'm getting to the second half hour, I realize how daunting your record is, because when I'm doing, say to this day, I do 1,000 push-ups a day. I made a deal with my wife to take it down and be present. the 1,000 push-ups is not daunting when it doesn't have to come one after another after another. And I made the mistake of that. I tried to chase your record from the beginning. You watch my video online. I'm just like boom, 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 boom at first, but I'm also going too ham on the front end. So like I'm going till I'm tired instead of stopping off, recharge, and come back to the mat. Because when I do 60-40s at home, I get up after 60, come off of my knees and relax for a second and come back down. My entire plan was upside down in the second half hour. I went from doing 60-40s to doing like 7-3, and everyone's in the room like, just take a breath and just pound them out. My kidneys started to lock up. Like my kidneys started to hurt. My blood sugar went sideways. I'm like shaking in between. My daughter runs downstairs to like get me a smoothie, which I'm like spitting up as I'm eating it. Like I've got another brother of mine, like with like a cold towel, like trying to just drop the temperature of my back. Like I did this on 3 days notice when I read your article, and I was just like, well, I can do this. And I still think that I could do this. I'm looking at your records, and this is the one that hurts me the most. Most chest to ground push-ups in an hour. Back in 2024, you got 1,494 push-ups before you rebroke the record. I got 1,394. I missed your old record by 100 push-ups.
I know.
Which I'm a 44-year-old man and mildly crusty. Stop breaking this record, first of all, because I'm never going to catch you. But I'm looking at that, and it's so obtainable at the old number if it was planned better. Like I made the mistake of no planning, no hydration plan, no blood sugar plan, and then that all bit me in the end. And it just touches to something that you said earlier, because I got done. Like everyone knew I wasn't going to break the record in the last 15 minutes. I just couldn't. I kept going, but it was like 3 push-ups, stop, shake and whimper, 2 push-ups, stop, shake and whimper, and then just continue. And my dad, who was there along with a crowd of people, he said to me afterwards, he's like, when you knew you weren't going to do it, why didn't you just shut it down? You knew you were hurt. And I was like, I dedicated myself to 60 minutes. 60 minutes as hard as I can go. And how do I have a baseline for the future if I don't try now? Like, oh, I stopped at a half hour, but I was almost on pace. I could beat it. The second half hour is the race.
Right.
The marathon that you ran when you chased down the guy with the tattoo, the second half of that marathon is the race. You knew you could do the other part. I know I can do 2,000 push-ups in a day, but what can you do in an hour? Learning the hard way. I see you actually have the records here.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. How many world records have you had, and how many do you currently still have?
Yeah. So I've made an official 11 attempts. So that's camera crews, everybody's out there, not just me training, but 11 official attempts. And out of those 11 attempts, I've been successful in 9. So at one point, I've owned 9 records. But with Guinness World Record publicizing all these stories and all these records, which I appreciate. I love all the publicity.
But without it, I never try and take your record down, right? I don't even know.
If nobody knew about the record, then I would be safe. I would be sitting here with 9 records, playing with my baby or something, right?
I know. And when I reached out to you, it was weird because I'm writing you an email. I'm like, hey, I'm Drew, and I just tried to steal one of your records, but I didn't get it, so we're all good.
But no, I invite the competition, right? I'd love, because what's the point of owning a soft record, right? What's the record should be there. It should be competed for. It should be, I want to see how high can we get the numbers? How much work can an individual do? Because as they break it, I break it back and I get better. And in our pursuit of this, like we both, the two of us or whoever is engaged in the race, we get better and better. Like iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, it's like in any great sport, you're better because the other great is pushing you to be better.
100%. I 100% agree. I thought 1,494 was a crazy number. I thought 1,500 was going to be the limit. I thought like, hey, I could have done 6 more, but I was really
And that's
tired.
it.
Yeah. And people online were reaching out to me. There's one of the soldiers from I want to say the Netherlands somewhere, and he reached out and was like, "Hey, I'm coming after your record. I'm gonna go for 1,500." I said, "Yeah, perfect. Let me tell you my strategy." And he made an attempt, but Guinness disqualified him because his chest didn't hit the ground every rep. So your chest has to be on the ground with every rep. And so yeah, let me I'm gonna bring it around. So this is the most recent record. Uh, this is the this. Oh no, this is the hand release push up. See, when you have too many records,
Yeah, they get to be a bit of a pile up.
they get that pile up over here. Start running out of wall space at home.
Yeah.
Hang them all up.
You had so many records at one point that they were hanging them up at work,
Yeah.
and he had so many records that it was deemed a fire hazard. If that isn't saying something in itself, what's that one? There
So,
you go.
so this one is the most chest to ground burpees. I'm sorry, most chest to ground push ups. This is the most recent one.
That's the one.
The one. This is the one that you.
That's the one I
This
wanted.
is the one you wanted right here. Yeah, 1,721 reps. And with this one, we dedicated $1 a rep to the Oregon Humane Society
Oh, nice.
for my our family's late Chow Chow Leo. So yeah, we were able to raise quite a bit of money for all these organizations.
That's so
If you
awesome.
want to hold it? You definitely
Yeah, I can hold it. One day that's going to be mine.
That's
and
right.
you know what's funny is you are, like you said, you do push people to want to break records. And the first phone conversation we had, you were like, yeah, you should break that one. You should break a different one. Like, what are you thinking about breaking? And I'm like, I was still like, the body is still aching from the last time. Because when you push yourself that far, like I was hurt, like I do push-ups like crazy, and my streak was intact, almost a 6-year streak of at least 1,000 a day. And I actually had to take a break and make those push-ups back up because I could not physically do a single push-up the following day.
Yeah.
And the 2 days after that, it was like, felt like it had ripped the top of my pecs completely.
Yep.
There were times where I was thinking, like, did I permanently cause a problem here? And how do you, I know we're going on here, but how do you address that part with what can happen when you push too far and when your muscles start to attack your own body?
Yeah. So my advantage that I have over the general population is that I'm in sports medicine, right? So I learn from all my athletes, all my patients who come in, and they push themselves too far. So I get to learn about what that feels like. And then in my training, I'm very, very safe. I no longer do ego training. I never train off my ego anymore. I train off of what I was yesterday. Am I going to beat myself from yesterday? And your strategy of doing 60 to 40 push-ups every minute, was it?
60-40, just until 100 push-up sets. So
Okay.
60 rest for 30 seconds to a minute, and then 40.
Yeah. So what you're doing is, you're setting up like a circuit, right? And it's a great workout that way, but you're not programming enough rest in there. You're going to burn yourself out, and that's what you felt at that 30-minute mark. So the way I do it, I program rest in between each rep. And so for me, I set a timer every 4 seconds. I do 2 push-ups. Every 5 seconds, I do 2 push-ups. And so in my timer, I have my motivating music, my pump up, all my crowd and everything. But there's a metronome in my ear. Every 4 seconds, it beeps 2 push-ups, no matter what. 2 push-ups. So 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. And it's like a clockwork. Boom, boom, boom. And I just do 2 push-ups. That's all. So for me, I don't have that daunting task of 60 push-ups or 40 push-ups that you did. I just had to wait for the next beep and do 2. Wait for the next beep and do 2. Just do 2. No matter what, do 2. And so doing 2 push-ups, you can do 2 push-ups in like maybe 1.5 seconds.
Much more obtainable.
Yeah. So you can rest the rest of the time and let your muscles shake. And if you watched the video, and I'm sure you have,
you turn your hands.
So I turn my hand. So when my hands are completely backwards, right, it's more of a tricep push. When they're more sideways, and I go wide, I go narrow, I go slightly forward, slightly back. So I work in different areas of my pec, my delts.
I
And
see.
so I take a very scientific approach when I do these things, and very progressive. Like I've learned, if I can train my body to run for 12 hours, like I can do push-ups for an hour, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and and I'm not doing anything. It's just body weight. I just and so muscle fatigue, I feel is safe. Whereas like any kind of joint pain, tendon pain, and like I said, my advantage is I get to know all that. I know all that stuff, and so I can do a quick biopsy of myself. All right, yeah, quick assessment. Hey, you're okay. It's just muscle soreness. It's just some
Mhm.
DOMS. You'll get through this. But if it's a tendon rupture, obviously that's something different.
Yeah, and I think that for me, I should have had a hydration plan days ahead.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like when you tried to break a record and you'd just done a workout.
Hmm.
When I tried to break your record, when I agreed to it, I had just come off a golf course, like just come off a golf course, and I hadn't played golf in months, many months, with a 2-year-old. And so the next morning I'd already signed up, like I'd already, set the date
Yeah.
2 days ahead. And I wake up and I'm like, Amy, why am I all sore? I'm all sore in all these spots. And she's like, you played golf and it's all different stuff. Like
Hmm.
now, so when I went to go do it, I was so sore when I got there.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to open up a chance at breaking a record. So all those things would have to happen for me to try it again. And maybe I will try it again. Um, you just have so much, you have such a great personality and an energy about you and the way that you push yourself. It's very motivating. And I wanted to just make sure that we can touch on whatever, like, I still have pages of things I want to talk to you about. Pages. So we'll probably have to have you on again sometime if you choose to do so.
Dude.
But this is all so incredible. And I know that you mentioned David Goggins here and being the idea of a living biopsy, and you really do encapsulate that and practice that in your day to day life. And I try to do that, and I think that you'll be a motivation for me to see how much farther I can push things, because people are, even in the gym here, people are like, God, you're so consistent.
Hmm.
You're always here, and I always tell people that if you're a creature of habit, be a creature of habit in a way you can control. Because if my habit was Netflix and the couch, I could be really good at that too. And I could be really consistent at that, but it's not going to get us anywhere. It's not going to make you live for the 100+ years that I'm going to need to be here with young kids. But
Yeah.
I would just love to have you back to talk about longevity and health and wellness. I mean, we haven't gotten into your diet at all, which I also have some ideas about that I think help to keep me in a lane. Um, all those guys and gals who watched you run and try and do poetry, or doubted you along your way, they're all fuel and their motivation. But you're also an example of the human spirit and the very basis of this show. And that's why I wanted you to be my first in studio guest, because I think that some people are going to look at you and be like, well, he does all these intense things and I can't do that. And I really dislike that out of people. When I tell people that I did 1 million push-ups in a year, or that I tried to break your record, because when I tell them my number on your record, it still is daunting to people.
Yeah, it is.
But it's also, the first thing they ever say to me is, I can't do that. And you're immediately putting your foot in the ground and you're canceling your opportunity to succeed. And you're doing it blindly. You didn't test yourself. You haven't checked yourself to see if you have the ability to do these things, because you couldn't run,
Mhm.
you couldn't lift, you couldn't do push-ups. And now you're the record holder in so many things. You ran down the dude with the tattoo. I mean, it goes on and on. You really are an inspiration. And your boys should be proud of you. Your wife should be proud of you. And I can't wait to get to know you better and to see where you go next. And we were hoping to have time to really break down, because you think that I should try to break another record.
You should.
Um, Now, the only one that I'm currently qualified to try is the chest to ground push-ups, but I still have some PTSD on that. from last time, and I think that the memory is short,
Mhm.
and give me a little more time and I'll probably be able to give it a try.
I bet you if you stick to that pace, that 4-5-4-5 rep scheme or rep scenario, you'd be surprised.
Hmm.
I bet because you have the endurance. If you've done, at one point your muscle remembers this that year that you did 2,800 push-ups a
Yeah.
day, your muscles remember. Were you varying your
No,
weights, right?
basically you're just coming in and out a little bit. Now I find myself with no wrist pain, no shoulder pain. People are like, "Well,
Good.
do you have joint issues?" It helps to be a littler guy.
Us.
Oh, look, and see, even Siri is being heavily supportive of my journey. But there's obviously work to do. I've got a very optimized uh, when it comes to my nutrition.
Mhm.
Um, Dodge a lot of carbs and dairy and things, inflammation building things. Um, but there's just no time to really break all that down. So in closing, I am glad that you'll come back on sometime because I think people could really learn a lot from you, and even to come on and talk about um, some of these topics. Like one that I would love to have you on for is blue zones. Do you know about this? They're
Oh, the oldest.
the areas of the world where people live to be the oldest.
Mhm.
And I know that your goal is to live to watch your boys grow and to optimize your health in that way. And I'm kind of in that same boat. When I had a sneak attack child at 42, you start to think about mortality and what it's going to take, and trying to break a deadlift record isn't going to be something that I'm going to try and do, but I think these records that you're doing, they're built around longevity,
Mhm.
and I'm proud. I'm proud to have even come close
Yeah.
to your
Should be.
record. I was like, the first thing I'm going to ask him is to stop breaking push-up records, but I'm motivated by it. And thank you for coming up here. I'm so glad that you live in the state of Oregon, so we got a chance to touch base with you again. But before you go, is I know that legacy and purpose and all this stuff is important to you. If any takeaways before we hit the road?
So first, you should look at the hand release push-ups. I did a hand release push-up, so that's the first record I set. So nobody, Guinness has set a bar, but nobody had hit the bar yet, the minimum. But so that's the first record I've ever set. So I'm the only one who's ever owned it, and I think it's 1,422
Oh,
reps.
wow.
So it's just a hand release, right? So push up, hands, just a little bit of daylight between your hands, and just repeat.
I think I could give that a shot.
You should give that a shot. So here's the thing, right? You go after that. Go and like I said, set a timer, set a metronome for yourself. If you there's plenty of workout apps for it, but you pick out a metronome, and I think if you just do 2 reps every 5 seconds, that I think if I remember right, that was my record pace. So 2 reps every 5 seconds, you would beat it, and when you break it, I will be here for you.
You'll break it right back.
Well, no,
Well, hey,
I
honestly,
would let you.
I said this though because I figured that you or someone else would break the record if I had broken it when I tried, and just to have it at one point
Mhm.
is enough for me. And like now, maybe I'd get in a back and forth
You
and we'd
would.
just start grinding. But
Yeah.
the idea of even having it once, that's something that when you're on the porch and the body's not doing it anymore, you can say and tell these young whippersnappers
Yeah.
about that time you crushed a world record. Is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
But for I would encourage you, and I think you I see the fire behind your eyes there.
Yeah,
I think you
definitely.
will. You yes, just set a metronome. You don't have to, like all these other motivational speakers. You don't have to tackle the mountain right away, right? You don't have to take one big leap. Just small steps, small
Hmm.
steps. Do it for 5 minutes. I bet you could. I bet you could maintain a 5 minute pace. 10 minute of that. Once you get to 15 minutes, things get interesting. So
Yeah.
just be be weary of that. Don't be afraid of that pain. Don't be like me and wait, 10 years, 10 plus years between marathon. As you train up for it, you can still do it.
I can definitely have a better plan than I did last time. Just, I mean, didn't even have a water sitting there.
Yeah. I know. And that's insane. Like that speaks volume to your character. So I applaud you for that. Like
Thank you.
that's insane. I'm a very scientific. Well, at my age, I'm very scientific. Everything I do, I calculated risks. But the message I want people to kind of just walk away, or hopefully they walk away from this is you know we're starting the new year here. We're in December, right? Come January, everybody shows up to the gym, and everybody's gonna want to achieve their summer body, get their six pack, get their
Yeah.
get their chest, their t-shirt muscles. Like all those are wonderful goals, but set realistic goals for yourself. It doesn't have to be a world record. It doesn't have to be. It's just a personal record, like a PR. Set a PR, right? It could be, hey, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, right? And then
Hmm.
just from there, from small goals, you grow into bigger goals. And don't be afraid to learn. Like you may be a runner, a lifter, but go out there, take that CrossFit class, take that Zumba class, take that class, get a trainer, somebody to help guide you on your journey. Because without those guidance, I would not be here where I'm at today. So start small, find some help along the way, and the internet has plenty of positive resources if you know where to look. But start small, build your goals, and eventually your PRs will grow into world records. Like
Hmm.
that's where I started. So don't be. I mean, you can be impressed by the records and all that, but I think that what's more impressive is the consistency that I've had in the last 2.5 years of just continuing to tackle records and still just competing. So that's my message. Grow your goals.
Well, I think that what's great too is that you plan it, right? Like, and I think that you can take something from both of our planning, not just on the push-ups. Like, I had a sister-in-law tell me I'd been doing push-ups for years, and she's like, "Well, you're just going to have chicken legs your whole life." And what I heard was, "You currently have chicken legs," and so I was like, "Okay, well, I'm going to lunge the track," which means I was going to do a 400-meter
Yeah.
lunge with no training. And so I gave that a try. I got about just over a half a lap and realized that try to lunge a track,
Yeah.
try and lunge 400 meters without trying. Um, I was walking and like I had
Yeah.
these wiggle legs for days. I think I had a double shin splint going on. Like, try great things, just plan accordingly.
Yeah, of course.
Well, thank you for coming in, Tommy. Really appreciate you. I think people are going to find great motivation, and it is a testament to we can do anything we put our minds to. We'll have links to everything that you've been up to, and I cannot wait to have you on again. I have so much to learn from you.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on.
of course, Drew. Thank you so much for having me.